Welcome to ValueMatrixTV, where we bring unfiltered voices and strategic thinking to build better workplaces. I'm Roydon Cerejo, and joining me today is Vijeesh Vishwanathan, a seasoned talent acquisition leader with over a decade of experience in strategic hiring and people operations. Welcome, Vijesh, to the podcast to ValueMatrix.tv. It's lovely to have you.
Thank you, Roydon.
If you can just quickly introduce yourself in the sense of your brief about your professional background to our viewers and listeners.
Sure, definitely. Thank you, Roydon, for inviting me for this session. And to the audience, I come with 13 years of experience. It's completely into the talent acquisition side, or rather into the recruitment and TA operations. I've been working in multiple tech organizations. My predominant expertise is into tech hiring.
Okay. Thank you so much, Vijesh. So I just want to start off with looking back at your career. You've also done a lot of volume hiring, right? When you started off, and right now you've graduated into more of talent acquisition and leadership talent partner, you could say. So how would you say you've had to maybe over the years, moving from volume hiring to talent acquisition, how have you changed your approach, and how do you think organizations have changed their ways in approaching talent, let's say over the past decade?
Sure, sure. So when I started my career, yeah, so I started in an organization which is huge and it's a service-based organization, and the hiring was huge in volume. So we were looking at certain key skills and not predominantly looking at certain kind of domain experience. We used to get large pools, so wherein we can train them, we can assist them, and probably if they are not suitable for a next skill, they might be repurposed and they might end up working on a different skill which is needed. So that's how the approach was. And currently, if you ask me how the hiring is being trending, is we look at people who are tech savvy. Like in case if there is certain technology, so we wanted someone who has work and has in-depth knowledge working in in that tech, and that's how it has evolved from my past during my start of my careers. And currently what I look is someone who is very thorough in the work which he is doing. So if there is a next skill which I'm hiring, so we wanted someone who understands the end-to-end part of it. So that's how my evolution has been in TA.
Okay, interesting. So of late, obviously we are hearing a lot of talk about AI being implemented in the hiring process, as it's part of the CHRO sort of mandate to integrate, or businesses are basically mandating that we integrate AI even into the recruitment process. And there's also a bit of fear, obviously, that maybe AI could even replace recruiters or certain roles in the recruitment fraternity. What is your take on that? Do you think that's just hype, or do you think that would eventually come there, or where are we now in your experience?
Automation has always been part of our life, right? So we move from X skill to a Y skill, so which is more faster and gives you results faster. So there is always during if you see our past 50 or 60 years, we started. If you talk about industrialization, like wherein um, give you a simple example. Like there were 50 years back, we had engines or trains which were running on fuel and coal, but that changed into like now it runs on electric and magnetic and all of that. So that doesn't mean people have lost certain kind of job, so they might upskill and get into a different kind of role or different kind of job. So automation has always been part of our life, is what I feel. And AI coming into picture at this point of time, so everyone might feel that this might kind of take our job away. Maybe there can be a situation, a lot of things can get automated. Yes, definitely. I would say it would make a lot of our lives a bit more easier. In terms of recruitment, a lot of repetitive tasks can be handled by AI, like in case if there is resume screening or talking to multiple 50, 100 people, right? So that can all be automated by certain kind of tools. But still, what I count on is the human resource as a function in the business, right? So we bring more of empathy towards what we do, and touch, keeping people in the center, right? So this kind of makes us not vulnerable for the current how we are kind of moving towards the AI pace. But then I would definitely say AI might be a supportive thing, but it might not eat away our jobs. Yeah, recruitment will evolve, and our roles might change. So we might end up using tools which might support recruitment. And this would be a switch from what we are currently doing. We might end up doing a little more than that, but then that doesn't mean the AI would replace certain kind of jobs. But it's very essential for us to cope up and be ahead of the AI. So before we know some tools might work better in certain terms, so we should learn those tools and get equipped. And instead of being at a denial, we should understand that this is here, the AI is here, the AI would help us, and we should progress along with the AI, is what I feel.
Okay, that's a good point. You spoke about empathy, right? Well, while hiring, and so I just want to also, you put it on the other side in the when you're hiring a candidate. These are some of the soft skills that are often kind of hard to objectively measure. Like the person may be very good in terms of technical skills, especially like since you're doing technical hiring predominantly now, right? How do you go about assessing like objectively these softer skills in candidates, because at the end of the day they do have to work in a team along with others as part, so and their long term success also would sort of be based on their capacity for these soft skills. So how would you go about maybe gauging these softer skills in candidates while going through the process?
It's a very much essential thing when you hire a person, right? So I mean, technically it might be very good, but then how do you assess a person basis his soft skills? So what he might, whether he might culturally fit in the organization, in a particular team, everything you discuss and you get to know while we are talking to a person, right? So that's what I'm saying. So that essential bit, that bit AI may not bring into the table, right? So in case if there are automated tools to make calls, so which are currently present in the market, so they can get you if they are fit technically, they, whether they have the matching experience, uh, qualification and all of that. But then I kind of feel it would be difficult for the tool to assess whether is the right fit. For example, I was reading some comments on LinkedIn, right? So wherein someone is asking the Chat GPT whether we I mean, it's a question where he puts in and he asks like, "There's a car wash 100 meters away from my home. Should I take my car or should I walk?" And the ChatGPT replies, "Since 200 meters is quite near and it's good for your health, you should take a walk." So, I mean, it is true. ChatGPT is talking about your well-being, but then it doesn't sometimes use the logic, right? So, and that's the essence of it.
You mentioned culture fit when you were talking earlier. And I just want to understand, like, how much importance do you give culture fit when you're, let's say, reviewing a candidate? Because, and how does that factor in your framework for sort of hiring talent as well? Because again, it's hard to sometimes gauge if somebody can will be cohesive in the company's culture. In terms of culture fit, how do you go about navigating this aspect?
It's mostly your gut. Like when you talk to the candidate, you understand a certain kind of aspiration. Maybe uh, as you mentioned, this previous organization might also give you a kind of a picture, but then it may not be the right picture. So when you talk to the candidate, almost 70 to 80 percentage of the time, you're sure that he might be a right fit or he might not be a right fit. He might join us and may not end up being here for a longer time. So sometimes is the person is more aspirational, and sometimes the person is less aspirational. What is he looking at? So whether the organization, our organization, can offer certain kind of roadmap for the person. So this and all, you would kind of talk to the person and understand. And if there is a cultural match is when we make a hire and be happy about it. Sometimes when we not do so, we definitely know that beginning of the hire itself. So we haven't kind of. It is not from an organization perspective. It's from the other end, candidates' perspective as well. So we wanted both of them to fit in a certain kind of work environment to do things which matters the most. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think the culture fit also happens when, the organization is sort of a representative of what they portray to the public, right? Like you go to an organization's website to see the culture, and they have all sorts of things, that it's a cool place to work, and you have all these amenities and for employees and benefits and stuff. In the culture that is portrayed on, let's say, the brochure or the website, is not necessarily how it is actually internally.
Yeah, you mentioned it right. So sometimes whatever is mentioned in websites are not the right things which might be in an organization. So, no organization would mention the bad qualities in an organization, right? So they always portray it is the best place to work. So that's how it has been. But it also depends on what exactly the person is looking at. So some candidate might be looking at a certain kind of growth in an organization. So sometimes a person might be looking at more of a well-being, self wellness or well-being, or maybe work-life balance and all of that. A little easy on the role. So all of that. So we'll have to understand what a candidate is actually wanted, like whether he wants to work in a fast-paced environment, or is he okay, is he someone who's looking at somewhere like he wants to contribute a bit and maybe he wants to do something else apart from his day-to-day job. So all of that attributes a lot when a candidate is looking into the organization. So when we look into the candidate, we look those details as well. The candidate experience is kept utmost important. So most of the organization currently, it has to be the candidate experience.
You talked about having the, I think it's important that the candidates come in and stick in for a long time, but especially when you're looking for skills that are there in the current candidate, how do you predict like, let's say, long term success, and how would you go about, like, let's say, identifying candidates that have true potential, beyond their current skills, to maybe in the future go on to senior leadership positions?
So it is important to identify that during the multiple conversation which we have, right? Um, See, sometimes the organization's expectation is itself kind of might be a bit low. I'm just giving you the contradicting statement. So when we look at a junior folk, so we wanted that person to stick with the organization and then grow with the organization. When we hire a very senior role, so sometimes the expectation from the business itself is like, okay, so this person might come and join, but we wanted that person to be in the same role for quite a longer time because that's how his roles and responsibility is going to be. So maybe you may want to assess that, right? So we do that as well. So, but then when there is certain kind of expectation in the role, so it is sometimes it's not reflective in the resume or profile. So it is most of the talkings which we do. Like when we talk to the person, we understand whether he wants to he or she, or they want to learn like the new skills, new technologies. Sometimes they have shown certain kind of interest. They have joined certain kind of courses. So when they talk, they ask about how is the learning here in the organization. So we end up sharing certain details where they can learn, like the materials which is available. So those kind of conversation relates more to a person who's like enthusiastic in terms of learning.
Do you see this initiative even with like the younger workforce, the Gen Zs that are coming into organizations now, like this initiative of going the extra mile of getting these additional certifications? Like, what has your experience been with hiring, let's say, the Gen Z crowd?
Okay, so when you mention Gen Z, it is basically most of them are just freshly passed out from the colleges, and they might have 3 years, 4 years experience, a top five, six, right? Um, I would say they are okay to stick their fingers in multiple places, as in like they are okay to what do you say, try different things. So they are not. So in fact, like they might be doing an internship on X Y skill, but they are okay to move to a different skill. So which is they're very volatile, so they can adapt, is what I feel. But I've also felt that I cannot answer for the masses, but then I've also felt that wherever I had certain kind of experience, they wanted to shift quickly. So, be it technology, be it skills, so they are open and they are willing and eager to learn. Maybe not taking certain kind of learning adaptation, like maybe the learning materials or like how I mentioned, the certification or courses. No, so they wanted to learn on roll. So that's what I've seen. Like they wanted to shift and then see if they can give it a try. And since they are a bit on the a little lower on the experience, and I guess they have that flexibility to do that. So I mean that's what I've observed, but which is actually a very good thing.
It is, yeah. I was just going to say that's actually a very good thing. Just coming back to AI and recruiting, if you had to sort of debunk one myth that you've come across or heard from people or seen online, what would that be?
I mean, it's not. It is like the one which we discussed earlier, right? Like, I mean, AI might, yeah, AI might come and recruiters might be replaced, or our jobs might go on stake. So that's going to be something which is going to happen. Recruiters will be equipped with right tools. So, with the right tool, right kind of mindset, we would do a better recruitment, is what I would say. And I mean, as a recruiter, we might end up hiring good agents as well. So that kind of would be our future. Like we might end up going and hiring good agents, which can do certain kind of jobs, certain kind of. So that's already there in the picture. So that is one thing. Wa- and at this point of time, I see a lot of organization bringing in a lot of tools without even like having a basic clarity on what it can do. So I would say to certain kind of organization which is willing to be or adapt to the changes, but then if your AI tool is not doing 100 or 200 percentage of what it's currently happening now, I would say it's a waste of time. So just increasing in productivity by 10 percentage, 20 percentage doesn't make any sense. It would just be a bigger cost bringing a lot of tools. Either it should enable you to do double the performance in whatever you're doing. So that makes a proper tool which you can bring into the system. So think about the solution, the problem which it can solve, and then bring the tool.
Right. So, my last question, Vijesh, I mean, keeping in mind what you just mentioned, that was very aptly pointed out, is if you had to give one advice for CHROs and talent acquisition leaders, sort of 5 years down the line, and keeping in mind that AI has just come in and right now is sort of rudimentary in the HR space. So keeping that in mind, the rate at which we are seeing the evolution of AI, like if you had to give one piece of advice for maybe future CHROs and talent acquisition leaders, what would that be? What would that be? In a world where maybe AI would be more prevalent in the HR space.
I mean, to the CHRO and talent acquisition leaders, I would suggest to have a lot of sessions. I would say learning sessions with the team which they have, right? So they should learn a lot of. I mean, they should be very. There is always a denial also from a lot of people. So this is not happening. That is not happening. So they come up and explain certain kind of things which is possible with chatbot and all of that. But there is always a denial from the users stating that no, we don't want to do that. No, this is not right. We are not getting the right kind of. I would suggest that shift in mindset should happen. So with the team, right? Be it a CHRO or a TA leader, the person should enable that kind of education flows to the team. So rather than a denial, they should get accustomed to the tools which they are using and use it wisely. They should know like this can ease your job and all of that. That way they build a future ready team, right? So they can work on certain skills without having I mean, if you see when there is a hiring happening, so when there is a kind of a situation, so there is a hiring happening, there might be 10 different position, so 5 different position might be a very easy to get skill, and then you'll have, at least in India, if there is an open position which is very easy to fill in, um, you know, by the time of fifth or sixth day, you have 100, 200 profiles applying for the role, right? So, which is mass in nature. So, you wanted to kind of reduce them. So, how do you do that? So, you can use kind of some kind of automation to look through and deep dive. And the best talent, some there might be a very important role, which is kind of the person who hasn't updated his LinkedIn for the past 5, 10 years. And that nowhere an automation or AI tool can go and fetch you and give you, because there's no skills mentioned, the person is not there in the portal. Who's the best person to do that job should be the recruiter himself or herself, right? They should enable it. And as I mentioned previously, they should always invest on tools which can give you double the what do you say, like the outcome which they are looking at. So if it's just bringing 10 percentage more accuracy, relevancy, or 20 percentage more what do you say, efficiency, so it doesn't make sense when you pay a bomb to all of these tools and bring in a lot of tools. Should wisely choose which is very important. And you cannot get everything in the system and later regret stating that we did a mistake. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think, yeah, thank you so much, Vijesh, for coming on and sharing your thoughts on ValueMatrix.tv. I think it's a great conversation. Hopefully, we'll see you again soon in the future.
Sure, Roydon. Thank you very much. It was an amazing conversation. Yeah.
Thank you. To our viewers and listeners, if you're passionate about modernizing HR, building better teams, and staying ahead in talent management, head over to ValueMatrix.tv for more great content. And don't forget to follow us on social and also subscribe to our podcast. Until next time, thank you for tuning in to ValueMatrix.tv, where we explore the future of work one insightful conversation at a time.